left when she said it meant nothing. That's all I needed to hear. 5 words, 1 moment, everything shattered. I didn't scream, didn't ask who, didn't demand the details. Because once someone looks you in the eye and tells you the person they kissed wasn't worth anything, what's left to fight for? So I walked out, and for years, I thought she never looked back until the day I saw her at my father's funeral, standing there like she belonged, crying like she hadn't destroyed me. And in that moment, all the silence, all the hurt, all the buried questions came flooding back. We were together for 5 years. Not perfect, not a fairy tale, but solid. She was my best friend, my anchor, the only person who knew the things I never said out loud. She knew I had a complicated relationship with my father. She also knew how much it would still destroy me to lose him. And she promised, no matter what, we'd get through it all together. But life doesn't always wait for you to be ready. And betrayal never knocks before it walks through your front door. It started with a weekend she said she needed alone. She wanted space. Said she was burnt out. Said she needed time to think. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She had never given me a reason not to, until I noticed her phone buzzing at 2 a.m., until her energy changed when I walked into a room, until she stopped saying, "I love you," with the same ease. One night I asked her plainly, "Is there someone else?" She hesitated, and that pause, that was the answer. She tried to lie, tried to backtrack, but I pressed once more, calmly, quietly. And that's when she said it. It meant nothing. No name, no explanation, just that. It meant nothing. It broke me in a way I can't explain, because she wasn't just my girlfriend, she was my safe place. And suddenly, I didn't have one anymore, so I did the only thing that made sense. I left, took a bag, moved into a friend's apartment, cut off everything, no calls, no closure, just gone. And she never came after me, not once. So I assumed she moved on, quickly, easily. Like I was never more than a convenience. Life moved forward, kind of. I focused on work, worked out more, went to therapy, started piecing myself together. But grief has a funny way of compounding. 6 months later, my father died. Sudden, unexpected, no chance to say goodbye. And even though our relationship had been strained, it tore something open inside me. Not because we were close, but because I had always thought we still had time to fix it. I didn't cry much, I stayed composed, handled arrangements, wrote the eulogy, stood beside his casket like a soldier until I saw her. She was standing at the back of the service, wearing black, eyes red, hands clenched so tight it looked like she was holding herself together by force. I froze. It didn't make sense. No one had invited her. She had no connection to my father, no right to be there. But she was, looking at me like I was the only thing in that room that mattered. I wanted to walk over. I wanted to scream, to ask why now, but I didn't. I looked away and kept pretending I didn't feel her presence like fire on the back of my neck. After the burial, people cleared out. I stayed behind to help carry flowers, to breathe. That's when I saw her again. Closer now. Eyes full of something I couldn't name. She walked toward me slowly, like she didn't want to break whatever invisible line I had drawn. "I'm sorry," she said. Her voice was hoarse, small. "For being here," she added. But I couldn't not come. I didn't respond. I just stared at her. And she broke. "I loved your dad," she said softly. "He was always kind to me. Always told me I was good for you." Tears welled up in her eyes. I didn't know how to be good for you back then. I didn't know what to say. So I said the only thing that came to mind. "You didn't fight for me." She flinched. "I know," she whispered, "and that's something I'll carry for the rest of my life." We stood there in silence. Two ghosts in the aftermath of something that used to feel like home. And then she said something I never expected. I still have the note your dad gave me from the first dinner we had with him. She reached into her bag, pulled out a small folded piece of paper. It was old, creased, but intact. I unfolded it. It was his handwriting. If you ever hurt my son, leave before he finds out. He loves too deeply to survive a betrayal. I stared at the words, then back at her. Why didn't you? Why? I asked. She didn't look away. Because I was selfish and scared, and I thought, maybe you'd forgive me eventually. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I know you hate me. You should. I just needed you to know it did mean something. You meant everything. I didn't say anything, not then, not until she turned to walk away. Why now? I asked. She paused. Because grief strips away pride, she said, and I needed you to know I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to love you right. She left after that. No demands, no promises, just a goodbye I hadn't expected, but might have needed. To anyone listening. Sometimes closure doesn't come in a clean conversation. Sometimes it comes in broken moments, in rain-soaked funerals, in faces you thought you'd never see again. I don't know if I'll ever forgive her fully. But I know this. Some people leave without looking back. And some people look back too late. If you've ever been betrayed and then left with the silence, drop a comment below. Because healing isn't always about reunion. Sometimes it's just about hearing the truth, even if it arrives years too late.